trades. You looking at me right now. Look at your man. Now look at me. Back at your man. And back at me. Look at the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell next to the bell. Now back at me. All right. Make sure to subscribe, guys, for more videos of all trades. I want to talk about the co-main event and tangent slightly off into another topic. So basically, it was Robert Whittaker versus Jared Cannonier. And, I'm from Arizona. I was going for Cannonier. Kill a gorilla. Robert Whittaker looked very good. One of his trademark moves, and he's probably one of the few UFC fighters that actually has a trademark move, and I don't know if it's left or right, but he throws a punch and then a nice kick right behind it. And you gotta have some like adductor or whatever flexibility to throw that so fluidly. I tried it and I almost popped my head, but anyway, Robert Whittaker throws this nice punch and then kick combination. He caught Cannonier with it, I think, in round, 3, or 4, and Cannonier was stumbled. It was a good fight. Both guys are tough. Shoulder will went to a decision, and basically now Robert Whittaker is still the number 1 ranked middleweight. Okay, and this is the topic I want to get right to. All right, and I want you guys to tell me what you think about this theory or my thoughts about this in the comments below. This is something happening in both the middleweight and the UFC welterweight divisions. Now, I haven't thought about the other divisions. I'll probably look into those and see, but just the welterweight and middleweight are on the top of my head. Robert Whittaker is the number 1 ranked middleweight in the UFC, and Colby Covington is the number 1 ranked welterweight in the UFC. Now, I think that's it's kind of finicky or whatever, but just how certain fighters in the top 10 or top 5 get title shots, when it's like, technically, how should anyone under the number 1 ranked guy get a title shot? Okay, well then the con of the number 1 ranked guy always getting a title shot is like, okay, well, we already saw him fight the champion. How's that going to look for the numbers? Are the fans going to want to see those two guys fight again? And I don't know if the UFC has a system or structure as far as how they pick who's next in line for a title shot, because it's clearly not just based on the rankings. Because if it were purely based on the rankings, then the number 1 guy would always just fight the champion, even if the champion beat him, he lost, he would just fight again. But we often in the UFC in the last maybe 5 years, maybe longer, have seen the number 2, the number 3, 4, 5. And maybe even sometimes the number 6 guy, I don't think, but definitely in the top 5 there, maybe that's title contention within the top 5 of a division, get a crack at the title. Now, the reason I bring up the middleweight and welterweight division, because Robert Whittaker and Colby Covington both pose something very interesting that made me ponder and think today, and it's that both Whittaker and Covington are right now kind of defending that number 1 ranked position. I mean, think about it. It's like they're blatantly better than their peers, than the rest of the guys in the division. Okay? They fight the number 2 guy, 3, 4, 5, 6, the number 8 guy. They beat those guys. But then when they fight the champion, it's like they either come up short or they get finished. I just thought that was very interesting, that Whittaker and Covington, it's like, and then what Robert Whittaker said in his post-fight press conference, someone was asking him about Adesanya, and they're like, so when are you guys going to fight? And he said something to the effect like, look, mate, I don't know if it's going to be now or next month or somewhere in some parking lot when we're both old and fat, right? But he said as a warrior, he needs to fight Adesanya, and I agree to that to an extent, but I kind of disagree, and because what I heard in his tone and that response to me is complacency. Robert Whittaker is complacent. He's content. Okay, he's on a 2-fight win streak against 2 top contender guys. He beat Darren Till. He beat Jared Cannonier. These aren't scrubs. These are legitimate top 10 guys. Like, Cannonier is the number 2 ranked UFC middleweight. Okay, and Darren Till. I'm like so over Darren Till. Like, oh my God. Maybe I'll do another video on Darren Till, but I'm just like gassed and like over Darren Till, mate. Like, just go away, mate. Just fucking disappear. Yeah, go to fucking Bellator, mate. Just do something. But yeah, and then Covington in the welterweight, the same thing, right? Had a crazy 5-round stand up. You guys should know now I don't like all stand up fights in the UFC, but he had a crazy 5-round stand up war with Kamaru Usman, and fucking broke his jaw, or Usman broke Covington's jaw, and just showed his will and his heart and his toughness. So Covington just beat the former welterweight champion, and he beat him decisively, and it's like, holy shit. So like, Covington's still the number 1 ranked UFC welterweight, and you got Gilbert Burns as number 2. So here's to my point. So the number 2 guy now is getting a crack at the strap, and you're like, okay, well, how's that possible, right? Well, you can say, well, Gilbert Burns was going to fight Usman for the title, but Burns tested positive for COVID, and then so they kind of I think they just scrapped that entire fight. Masvidal's number 4 ranked welterweight. These are the ranking source I'm getting this from is the UFC app on my phone, but like the legit UFC website. So welterweight division picture rankings looks like Usman's the champion, Covington's ranked number 1. In the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. Gilbert Burns is number 2. Leon Edwards, maybe we'll get to him if we got time in this. Leon Edwards is ranked 3rd. Yeah, I thought because he wasn't getting fights, he was ranked like 6th or 7th. Leon Edwards is the number 3 ranked UFC, spitfly, number 3rd ranked UFC welterweight. I'm like, so why are people saying like fighting Edwards isn't gonna really catapult their career? If you're number 5 and you fight Edwards and you beat him, I think that'd make you now the number 3 guy. But anyway, so Masvidal's the number 4. So it's like the number 4 guy. Now at the time, I think Masvidal was ranked 3rd. I don't know, but either way, the 3rd or 4th guy still in that top 5. Kind of jumps ahead. Well, he jumped Burns because Burns, of course, Burns is out because he tested positive for COVID. And he gets a crack now. Not to mention there was some animosity between Masvidal and Usman, so I guess it kind of makes sense. But that's just that's that about the rankings and who gets the next title shot in the UFC. It kind of doesn't make sense to me in that regard, because it's like, as Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. So here's a thought, and tell me what you guys think in the comments below. What do you guys think about, like, the UFC makes interim titles all day long, right? Their champion fucking gets the cold. Their champion sneezes, gets fucking diarrhea, shits on himself, slips on bird shit, whatever. Can't compete. Oh, let's make an interim title. Interim title. They should change their name to the Ultimate Interim Fighting Championship, because they make all these interim fucking title belts whenever a champion like can't compete for like a month or 2 or something like that. It's ridiculous. But it's like they made these belts, and I don't know how much money it costs to make the belts, but apparently it doesn't break their bank because they just do it so much. But what if there was like a belt for the number 1 ranked fighter in each division? And it's like, see, I'm not really a businessman or as much as them, because in my mind I'm like, oh, just make the number 1 guy fight the champion all the time. But you can't do that, and that's why I guess they only have, they'll only allow guys to fight a maximum of 3 times. But I don't think in their history they've really had this problem where like they've had the number 1 ranked guy can beat everybody else in the division, but he can't quite beat the champion. And I'm really interested to see in the next coming months, maybe the next 9 months, or just the next year, actually, October 2021. I'm really interested to see the UFC middleweight and welterweight ranking picture. I don't think anybody in middleweight is going to beat Israel Adesanya. That's just me saying that. And tell me what you guys think in the comments, all right? But I don't think so. Okay? Here's Toby. I don't think they are. I think the next move for Adesanya is to go up to light heavyweight. You've got Whittaker, and he can beat the other guys. Okay? He beat the number 2 guy. He just beat Jared Cannonier. I'm sure he can beat the number 3 guy, the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10 guy. But it's like if he gets up to Adesanya, I don't think he's gonna do it. I mean, Israel knocked him out. But yeah, very interested to see what happens in those 2 weight classes in the next coming year. And make sure once again you guys hit that subscribe button. You know, myself and Toby. Yeah, these are who's mans. All right. So this is Mark Ball Trades signing out here, reminding you guys to take up as many trades as possible. Yeah, don't be afraid. Out.